So what's up, everybody? My name is Drew. I go by Big Drew or Big D as a joke was for Drew. On Discord, I realized that nobody uses their real name. So when I set up my username, I was like, I got to do something. And I didn't want to use my real name. So it was Big D and it just rolled forever. So I'm basically representing Goat Tribe tonight, and I do a lot of Cardano development. So if you have technical questions on like how to mint NFTs or how things work on the protocol or things like that, I'm your guy, and I probably have a technical answer on it. So, all right, so let's get into wallets. So each Cardano wallet comes with a payment address and a staking address. So the payment address is for actually receiving ADA and getting payment from people. And then the staking address is used for staking to other stake pools and receiving rewards. So wallets can have multiple payment addresses, but you're only going to have one staking address. So you can already see like how important staking is to Cardano because it's built into the wallets. Each wallet comes with an address specifically for staking, so that that functionality is basically built into the blockchain. It's not like an afterthought where they're like, how do we add staking now? So yeah, if you look at this wallet, it's a little blurry, but you can see the address at the top, that's the payment address, and then the address down below, that's the staking address. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cover 3 wallets in this presentation. We're going to go over Daedalus, which is a desktop wallet, and Daedalus installs a full Cardano node on your laptop. So what that means is it installs the software to actually run a Cardano node to submit transactions and interact with the network. Whereas other wallets don't necessarily do that. They're lightweight and submit their transactions elsewhere. They don't actually run a node to submit it themselves. So Daedalus is the official Cardano wallet built by IOHK, one of the companies involved in building the protocol and Cardano itself. It's the most secure because it doesn't connect to websites or dApps. So there's no way for you to like go to a website and connect your Daedalus wallet. It just lives on your laptop. And then there are other ways where if you want to interact with their apps, you can do it, but it's not the same as the browser wallet. So it's a little bit more secure. You can't just accidentally sign a transaction that all of your assets go away. It's only on your laptop. And then, yeah, it's great for developers because of the Cardano node. So as a developer, sometimes you want to submit your own transactions and not use like the third parties and stuff. So with Daedalus installed, rather than downloading the code for the Cardano node and spinning it up and running it yourself, you can download Daedalus and then hook into that to use that to submit your transactions. So if you're a developer, I highly recommend getting it just to play around with it, because then you can play with the CLI and the dev tools and stuff like that. Okay, so next we're going over Eternal. So Eternal is a browser wallet that has mobile capabilities. So it's got a little bit more of an advanced UI than Daedalus and the other one, Nami. So you need to know a little bit about staking and UTXOs and some of the stuff that we're covering in this presentation to use all the features effectively. Because if you don't understand any of that stuff, you're going to go in and it's a little daunting. There's lots of buttons and, and numbers and screens and stuff. So yeah, I recommend Eternal once you kind of get going and understand the network a little bit. And then it supports multiple payment addresses. So that helps with privacy a little bit. You don't always have to use the same payment address so people don't recognize, oh, this guy's always buying the same one. It switches it up, but the money always goes to the same wallet. And then, yeah, it's great for UTXO management. So it has extra tooling to help manage the UTXO. So we'll go into the UTXO model a little bit, but it's important to how the wallets work, and Eternal gives you more tooling around it to make sure that they don't get clogged up or you don't have issues with your wallet due to that. And then the last wallet that I'm going to be talking about is Nami Wallet. So this is what I normally recommend to people who are newer to crypto, that kind of just like want to get involved and start learning the protocol and stuff, because it's a more lightweight wallet. So it's much more simple UI. Basically, like all you see is how much ADA do I have and which NFTs do I have. And you can view your past transactions, but it's just much more simple. It's not as daunting as Eternal. You open Eternal and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? You open Nami and you're like, this is super easy. I can do crypto. Yeah, so Nami only has a single payment address, so you don't get multiple addresses. That's just something to be aware of. Like if you're going to start a wallet in the Nami and then try to transfer it to somewhere else, sometimes you hit some hiccups there because of how the addresses work. But yeah, Nami is the one that I recommend to beginners. So if you're new to Cardano and haven't done much, start with Nami. If you're a developer, install Daedalus, and then once you feel like you're getting the hang of things a little bit, I would use an Eternal. And it's good to have multiple wallets set up because sometimes, like you send a transaction and you're waiting for one to go through and you're like, crap, I want to buy something else immediately, or I'm trying to mint more NFTs or something. So to have multiple wallets where you can send transactions from is helpful. So yeah, and this is just 3. So there's multiple wallets. I'd recommend experimenting with them. Yeah.
Are these wallets like apps that you download, or you find them in the browser?
So Nami and Eternal are browser extensions, and Eternal has the mobile app. So Daedalus is a desktop app. So you literally you go and download the desktop app for Mac or for your PC, like from their website. Eternal you can find on like the Chrome Dev Store or like wherever you search for extensions. I think they have it for Brave and probably Firefox. Yeah. Yeah. If you Google it, it should. I would Google the name of it and then Cardano wallet, and it's definitely going to come up. Eternal, I think, has a mobile app now. So I think you can go on the App Store and find it, and then it works similar to how the Ethereum wallets work. So basically, like you download the app, and then it can open up a browser, and then you go to the website, and then you can interact with that website using that. And then yeah, Nami's the browser extension. So. There we go. Oh, don't look. Okay. Okay, so the accounting model versus UTXO. So UTXO is an important aspect of the Cardano blockchain. In the accounting model, each user has a balance associated with their account. And then as you have transactions, they transfer funds from one account to another, and then the balances update accordingly. So basically you have one account and that's getting updated over time. And then for UTXO, UTXO stands for unspent transaction outputs. So in the UTXO model, a transaction has inputs and it has outputs, where the inputs are unspent outputs from the previous transaction. So basically, every time you have a transaction, the inputs to the next transaction were outputs from a previous transaction. And this is helpful because you can have multiple UTXOs on one wallet. So I can have one wallet that has a UTXO with 50 ADA on one, and then 100 ADA on another UTXO, and then 500 ADA on another UTXO. And the sum of those UTXOs is how much money I have in the wallet. And then you can use the UTXOs independently. So if I have a transaction, I'm only sending 25 ADA to Rod. It will only use one of the UTXOs that basically has that much money on it. So if I want to do 2 transactions like roughly within the same time or at the same time, you can use 2 different UTXOs. Yeah, so then that's it visualized. And then, yeah, still a little blurry, but you can kind of see the idea. So this is a screenshot from Cardano Scan, which is a website you can use to inspect transactions. You can see up top the 2 big long lines are 2 addresses with UTXOs on them. So there's 2 inputs from the same wallet that are used to pay 56 ADA to one of the output addresses. So up here it says there's 50 ADA on one UTXO and then 34 ADA on the next. So that equals 84 ADA for the input. And then for the outputs, there's 2 outputs. I'm sending 56 ADA to one of the wallets, and then the resulting 28 ADA goes back on the UTXO that I used in the input. And then there's a highlighted green box right there because I also got an NFT. So I was minting an NFT in this transaction. So basically it used 2 UTXOs to say I need to make 56 ADA and send 56 ADA to this address. And then I got 28 ADA back to my other address with the new token. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there are so there are limits to max transaction sizes. So if there were like 1,000 people, you can't necessarily do 1,000. But yeah, Yeah, like I can send, so I can do one transaction for like airdrops is like the perfect example. If I need to send like out 300 NFTs to a bunch of different people, I can do that in like 1 or 2 transactions. The fees do add up because there are min transaction fees, or there are min amounts that need to sit on the UTXOs, which is like 1 ADA roughly. So if you're sending a bunch of NFTs to a bunch of different people, it can still add up a little bit, because if you're sending to UTXOs that don't have any ADA on it, like it can still add up a little bit. Yeah. So if you send a certain amount of ADA with it, then you're good. Yeah, but like if you're giving away free airdrops or whatever, you're gonna have to send people like 1 ADA or 1.5 ADA to get them the NFT, depending on, some of it depends on how the transactions get built in which UTXOs get selected. So I'd imagine if you already have a UTXO that the token can go on, it may just use that. A little bit unsure, I'd have to check with it, but yeah, you can send, I can send everybody in this room an NFT in one transaction, basically. Oh, side note, I minted the NFTs that everybody got tonight. So the developer, and I sent all of those NFTs to Chile in one transaction. I did do that. So that was 100 NFTs in one transaction. Okay, so back to staking. So yeah, staking is a really important part of the Cardano network. It's basically built in. And basically when you own ADA, that is your stake in the network. That's what they call it. So staking is fundamental. Like you're expected to delegate to other wallets, or to other stake pools to secure the network. So here I'm showing like if we want to delegate to DRMZ, like what can you do? How do you do that? So you go to Pool PM. Pool PM is a website ran by Smog Pool, and it's basically a website for interfacing with the blockchain and seeing how much money is on what wallets, what NFTs do they have, what stake pools are available, how much ADA is staked to them. You can see tokens that are minting currently. So they provide various services to view stuff on the blockchain, including how to delegate. So if you go to Pool PM, you can search DRMZ in the search, and then you'll get one little box that comes up. You click on the box, and then it shows you the details for our stake pool. And then you click the button on the right that says join, and then that will say which wallet do you want to join with. In this example, we're using NAMI. So you would click the NAMI symbol, and then it builds the transaction for you. It says, okay, we're going to delegate to this pool. It only costs a couple ADA. You sign that, and then when the transaction goes through, that's it. You're good. I think it's easy as that. Oh, 15 days. It takes 15 days for you to get your first rewards, but then after that, it's every 5 days. So it was such a like mind-blowing thing for me when I realized that like you literally get paid in ADA every couple of days, because if you leave money in like a savings account, the percentages of what you get back is like literally pennies. I think I got like a statement from my bank that was like, you made like $1.50 on your savings account, and I was like, sick. I made that in one epic. By the way, I think I read it as epoch, but I believe it's pronounced epic. So when you see yeah, okay. I read it in my head, it says epoch, but I swear I Googled it online specifically for this to give people correct information. Yeah, okay, so then, yeah, we're gonna talk about NFTs. So a lot of the work that I do is in NFTs. So an NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's a unique digital asset on the blockchain, meaning there's only one of that asset on the blockchain, versus a fungible token, where a fungible token means there's multiple of the same token and you can use them interchangeably. So like Bitcoin or ADA are fungible tokens where if you have 1 Bitcoin and I have 1 Bitcoin, we can exchange them and it's literally the same thing. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. That's a fungible token. Whereas non-fungible is like my Goat Tribe NFT, where there's only one Goat Tribe 6956 on the blockchain. It's the only one that looks like that. It's the only one that has those attributes. So yeah, that's the difference. NFTs are used to represent ownership of a digital asset. So you can do it for images, you could do it for audio, you could do it for videos, PDFs. Basically, as long as it's a digital file and you can put it on the blockchain, then you can say this person owns it, and then you can sell it as a token or an asset or whatever. And then I always explain NFTs to people that they're like expensive Pokemon cards that you can't fake. So if you check the policy for an NFT and it's correct, it's guaranteed to be real. So you're never going to open a pack and get like a fake one, or I don't know, something that's not real. You can't game it. But obviously there's much more use cases for NFTs other than just expensive Pokemon cards, right? Like it's used to verify ownership of something. So like a good example would be like if you wanted to start putting like car VINs on a blockchain, and then you could use wallet verification to say like, yes, I own this car. Like the idea is who owns what and how can I confirm that on the digital ledger. Okay, so NFTs on Cardano are native tokens, meaning they don't require a smart contract or any extra tooling to support them on the blockchain. So this is helpful for security and for staking. NFTs and other tokens are essentially baked into how Cardano works. So like I said, you don't need a smart contract, you don't need anything else. They can just live right in your UTXO, and Cardano supports them natively, which is super helpful. All NFTs have a policy which governs which wallets can edit the token and the metadata. The metadata is basically like what image shows up, what are the various attributes, what's the name of it. And then once a policy locks, it can no longer be edited. So you can't edit NFTs once it locks. You can't mint new NFTs, which means you can't create new ones. And then you can't destroy any of the NFTs. So this is a way to bake in security into the chain. So that way, like, if I say, okay, I bought a bunch of Goat Tribe because I believe it's going to be a good asset, once that policy locks, they can't make more. So you can't like dilute the supply and just be printing like another 10,000 goats on that policy. The policy is locked. They can't change any of the NFTs. It's a way to keep your assets secure and make sure there's no funny business on the chain. Okay, so buying and selling NFTs. So once you've got your wallet set up and you're interested in NFTs, you can buy it on a marketplace like jpeg.store. So if you're coming from ETH, this is basically OpenSea for Cardano. But yeah, you go to jpeg.store and then you can search the collections, find an NFT that you think is going to be a valuable asset, and then go ahead and buy one. All the smart contracts use all the smart contracts use smart contracts. All the marketplaces use smart contracts to send you the NFT automatically once you pay. So something we're not going much into in this presentation is how the smart contracts work, but essentially it's a conditional contract. So like if I pay this ADA, then send this thing to this person. So all of the marketplaces have implemented this by now. Top projects tend to have founders that are active, great artists, good developers, good marketing, and a large community. So if you have all of those things, it's likely going to be a good project. And then another piece of advice I give people on NFTs is you want to sell when it's hot and buy when it's not. So if everybody's talking about it and the floor is pumping and people are psyched on the NFTs, all you see on Twitter, that's normally the time that you want to be selling them. So you don't want to be buying them as everybody's like, oh my God, they're so expensive, because then 2 weeks later, then they all come down and then you're stuck with the NFT and you can't sell it. Whereas if you find something where you've got active founders and good artists and good developers and you feel like it's undervalued, nobody's talking about it, that's the time to load up on them. And then when they run up and everybody's like, oh my God, this one, then that's when you sell. Okay, so here's the top 20 NFTs on Cardano. So the past year and a half has just been like crazy for Cardano NFTs. We saw a lot of these NFTs mint. And yeah, the NFT ecosystem is really vibrant and growing. NFTs are high risk, so you want to be, I wouldn't recommend putting your life savings into it. But if you're interested in Cardano, I'd get a wallet set up and get some ADA staked and figure out how to do it. And then maybe if you're interested in NFTs, find one that you think could be valuable, because yeah, they can go up in money, you know. So you can buy it for 100 ADA and then they go up for 300 ADA, you're still making money. So it's more than the 4% staking rewards, but you want to be careful because it can be risky. There's just a couple shout outs from projects to call out. So SpaceBuds is number one. The SpaceBuds founder built Nami Wallet. So that's probably why they're number one. They do a lot to support the ecosystem. They're roughly 5,000 ADA a bud right now. But that's a really good project. If you put your money there, it's not likely to go to zero. Clay Nation is another top project. They're clay art pieces that are algorithmically put together. They do a lot for the space too. They host events. They did a partnership with Snoop Dogg and Champ Medici, so trying to bring music to the Cardano blockchain. They're doing some metaverse stuff. They did something with Good Charlotte. So it's just somebody that's like frequently building and rewarding holders. And then yeah, just a couple. The Ape Society is probably one of the most expensive. They've got like a 10,000 ADA floor. Boss Cat Rocket Club, I like. They build lots of stuff. Chilled Kongs is pretty popular. And then Dead Rabbits. I like Dead Rabbits a lot because I do a lot of their dev. So those guys are really cool though. They're building something awesome. For what? The volume. So total volume done, yeah, 41 million for Space Buds and yeah, in ADA. Okay, so then just a few helpful resources in case you want to learn some more. So the Cardano official docs are fantastic if you want to learn how the protocol works, or you're a dev and you want to figure out how to do development on Cardano. The docs are the place to go. Cardano Scan is the blockchain explorer, so you can use that to inspect transactions, various policies, various wallets, UTXOs. Like if you need details on a transaction and you want to figure out what happened, Cardano Scan is the place. Pool PM is ran by Smog Pool, so that's the place to easily view NFTs. That's where I showed you how to delegate to a different stake pool. And then CNFT Tools. So CNFT Tools is a website to check the rarity of your NFTs. So like I said, they're all kind of like, they're like expensive Pokemon cards. So a Charizard is worth more than a Weedle. So if you go to CNFT Tools, you can say, okay, I only want to spend 500 ADA, and it will rank them by their attributes in terms of how rare they are. So sometimes you can find really rare NFTs and get them for cheaper than you normally would if you're going off of that. And then I added the Lucid GitHub link here. Lucid is a JavaScript library that's used to interact with the blockchain. So if you want to mint NFTs, or if you want to send ADA to somebody and do that pragmatically, you do that with Lucid. And that's supported by the same guys that built Nami and did SpaceBuds. I would say, honestly, JavaScript is probably like the most like used for applications. So Haskell is what's used for the smart contracts. That's like Haskell and Plutus because they've got their own specific system for the smart contracts. And then you have like, you could do like bash scripts and stuff too. So like they have the CLI. So basically like I believe the JavaScript is a layer on that writes CLI commands basically to submit to the blockchain. Yeah, people know it as Haskell, but it's like, it's funny because people know, oh, Haskell, it's hard to learn and you have to do that for Cardano, but that's only for the smart contracts. Like you can do a lot with just JavaScript and some simple transactions. What Haskell is to Cardano, would that be like Solidity to Ethereum? Yeah, well, I think technically Plutus would be like Solidity to Ethereum, but yeah, essentially, yeah. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much it for my slides. Shout out Goat Tribe, because I'm really big on goats. Yeah, woo! Yeah, Goat Tribe is basically a 10K collection that's all based on goats. So goat is a play on greatest of all time. So there's kind of an idea of like you have to be excellent, or like you should like bring your best to be in Goat Tribe. At least that's how I see it. You don't, anybody on the internet can go and buy an NFT. But they're done really well. They're one of the highest res and highest detailed NFTs like in the space. They're 5K by 5K images, and the details are just incredible. Each goat has a unique background color, so that's something kind of unique. A lot of projects reuse backgrounds and stuff. If you buy a goat and that one is like yellow, yours is the only one with that specific yellow. So there's just like a lot of thought that went into their NFT collection. So yeah, on Goetia and OG, yeah, they're all unique. Yeah, so yeah, they're just done really well, and that's why I rep Goat Tribe. And yeah, like a lot of the guys in the space, it's a super fun community. So yeah, check out Goat Tribe and LF Goat. So, all right.